Welcome to the regular monthly meeting of the Lebanon Town Council. As many of you know, we lost one of our friends and one of our councilmen a few weeks ago. I'd like to ask everyone to rise at this time for a moment of silence. Then we'll have invocation by Reverend Preacher Nunley. Thank you.
Father, we bow before you this evening, God, thankful for the privilege to come together as a community. We're thankful for each of these council members. God, you tell us in your word, where there's no vision, the people perish. And we're thankful for a group that have a vision. And we pray, though, for a holy anointing upon them, God, that they would seek you in every decision that's made. Father, we thank you for this great country in which we live. We currently pray for Israel, God. We stand with them. Ask you, Lord, to bless in that time frame, Lord. We know that war is upon their soil, but God, we're thankful that you are in control of all things. We ask you now, Lord, to bless this time together as only you can. And Father, again, we thank you for so great a salvation that you've given us through your Son, Jesus, in whose name we do pray. Amen.
Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're now down to editing the agenda from council. Is any business council wishes to add that's not on the agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We received in our packet the minutes from our September regular council meeting and the October 2nd call meeting. Everyone had a chance to review those minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the 9/11 and the 10/2 council meeting in call.
Okay. Have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're down to September accounts for payable. Mr. Short, do we have any additions to the accounts payable?
Yes, sir. Section B here, 3 additions.
Mr. Gilman?
Mayor, I'll move to approve the September accounts payable along with the additions presented.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve the accounts payable and the additions. Further discussion? Did we get a second? Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Mayor.
Thank you.
I do have a discussion also. Drew, on the general fund register, those 3 right-way cleaning invoices, did they just get behind on invoicing?
Yeah, they sent those 3. I don't know if they sent them or we didn't see them, or if they sent them late, but I know we received those 3. Those are for 3 separate ones.
Make sure there's no duplicate.
Yep.
That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Well, our pleasure to have with us a visitor tonight who's been involved in town business, and operation of business here for years, multiple years, and also served the town for 50 years on our planning commission. So I have a recognition and a resolution to approve and pass for Mr. James S. Easterly Jr., commonly known to a lot of us in the area as Satch Easterly. So I'm going to come down and read to you, Jim. Yeah, stand up right there, but don't go wandering, don't go wandering there. Yeah. So, expressing the consensus of the mayor, the town council, and town manager regarding the service of James S. Easterly Jr., whereas Mr. Easterly served on the planning commission for the town of Lebanon for 50 years with exceptional dedication, and whereas Mr. Easterly possessed diplomatic leadership and skills which were great assets to the town of Lebanon, and whereas Mr. Easterly was willing to share his broad range of knowledge and unfailing devotion in solving difficult issues for the town of Lebanon, and whereas Mr. Easterly devoted considerable time and effort to the betterment of the town and for its citizens, now therefore be it resolved by the mayor, members of the town council and town manager, that Mr. James S. Easterly Jr. be hereby commended for his commitment, accomplishments, and good works, and be it further resolved that this resolution in recognition of Mr. Easterly be made a permanent part of the recorded town council minutes on October 10th, 2023. Council, I'd like to present this resolution for approval.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Years, you can turn around and say whatever you want to. But
Get your walker.
Get your walker.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang on to this. I gotta think about this. I didn't have any idea that I've been on that thing that long. But the good thing about that, if you really enjoy something, time goes by. And evidently I enjoyed it, or I wouldn't have made it for 50 years. And when Tony, we got talking about it, I was getting ready to quit, retire. And he got looking it up, and that's what you come up with, which that's really nice. And the planning commission is a very important part of the town, and they've done a lot of good work. And the town council, I'll have to give them credit, they've always backed up the planning commission. And if we said come up with something, they was for it. And that makes it a whole lot more enjoyable to work with council and the planning commission to get things done that way. And I don't know how to say it in a way, but if y'all would take the time sometime to take a tour of our little town, back streets, front streets, main streets, whatever you want to call it, and look at it real closely, then you'll see what we have accomplished in 50 years. And it took almost half that time to get it going to where it would accomplish. And people don't realize that, but that is something else, and I really appreciate everything you did to help us. Appreciate you on, and God bless you and good luck.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Oh, Lord, yes, sir.
At this time, I will call us into a joint session with our Town Council and Lebanon Planning Commission. At this time, I'll turn it over to the chair, Mr. Cole.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. An application submitted by Stetlana Boyd for rezoning of property located on 114 Byers Court and 116 Byers Court from a R1 single-family district to a R2 general dwelling district. All adjacent property owners have been notified.
I guess the first thing is, do we have anybody who's here to speak for the application? Raise your hand.
anybody to speak against that, which
Turn the floor over to Ms. Ford.
Before I start this process, I would like to show you my story.
The audio, is the audio coming from the, sorry, I turned it all the way up. Yeah.
Blessed are those who can see, and blessed are those who can hear. I'm not here to complain or ask for your sympathy. I just want to share my story. We had a dream of retiring to Lebanon and starting our son in Lebanon High School after 8 years of homeschooling. We almost finished our dream house when my husband had to have aneurysm surgery in December of 2018. After this, my husband's health began to decline. He tried to do his regular routine and work on our new home, but he was not able to. You never know what will happen from one day to the next. On May 7, 2019, he was planting trees and seemed to be doing all right. However, he became very ill that evening. I took him to the emergency room in Abingdon. He continued to become worse. They figured out that he had had sepsis, and that night they put him on a ventilator. After 3 days on the ventilator, they decided to wake him up. During this procedure, he had a stroke and a heart attack. He was taken by a med flight to Johnson City, where he was then treated. To make a long story short, he ended up being in 5 different hospitals for the duration of 68 days and was unable to walk. During this, he developed stage 4 bed sores that are still in the process of healing to this day. Through the grace of God, we survived all of this. The next images I'm going to show you are graphic, and if you are sensitive, you may want to look away now. This picture is from when I brought him home from Wake Forest Hospital on July 24th, 2019. This is what the bed sores look like. This next picture is a sore which he developed on his foot. You may look back at the screen now if you looked away earlier. After 4 surgeries, he was bedfast for 8 months. I am his caregiver 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. After all of this, we had to wait long enough until he was strong enough to have surgery to fit in a pacemaker and defibrillator. We call him our God's miracle. At the end of October in 2021, we had 2 cardiac arrests on the same day. He was on the ventilator for 7 days The doctors were giving no hope. With the good Lord's help, he woke up and started to recover again. They took my husband off the ventilator for my son's 18th birthday. We celebrated his birthday in the ICU. With the help of our family and friends, we got through this. Our youngest son started college in 2022, and our oldest son, who was born with asphyxia, was living in Duran and working at Walmart. Despite his condition, he has adapted very well to living here, including learning a new language. He has worked since he was 18. He does well with his condition, but he needs help taking care of his financial documents and bills. We decided it would be good for us if he could live closer so he could help us and we could help him. Our first plan was to build a small home next to ours. At around the same time, my husband, who was planning to do a lot of the work, became ill, and the prices of building supplies went up. Finding someone to build the house became impossible with the advent of COVID. One day, in January 2022, I was driving back home from Bristol and noticed a place where they sell repossessed manufactured homes. I decided to stop and take a look. There was a beautiful single wide at a good price that I thought would be perfect for my older son. We were happy to find something so nice that was also within his budget. This home would be a dream come true, allowing him to move closer to us so we could help him more and he could help us. But this dream would soon become a nightmare and lead to one of the biggest fights in our lives. On January 26, 2022, the manufactured home was brought to our property. It had not even been completely unloaded when our neighbor was driving past and decided to stop. He began walking around the home and started taking pictures of it. I asked him why he was doing this. He told me he was the town manager and said we could not have this home on our property. I was too busy to continue this discussion because the man who brought the home to our property needed my help. So I asked the town manager to contact me later and explain more. Later that day, I received some messages from the town manager saying I had to apply for a conditional use permit. I also received a call from town council member Elijah Leonard providing the same information. The next day, I went to the town hall and filled out an application for a conditional use permit. I was confused on why I had to do all of this. So while I was there, I asked for some official town documents clarifying the zoning ordinances. I also asked them to show me the zoning map. It took 2 weeks of going back and forth between the town hall and the town lawyer's office to try and get the answers I needed. When I was doing research, I found out that I had the option to rezone my property. This is what Kevin Tiller, the town lawyer, said during a town meeting.
No, you can't do it for one particular property. You have a zoning board, which should have been the whole thing for the entire subdivision, for the whole intersection.
You mean like where those, if we wish to amend the R1, you have to amend the entire R1.
Exactly. And for every R1 zone, not just one particular area.
I asked if I could be allowed to keep the home if I turned it to real estate, and Kevin Tiller said I could not.
And with another one, you can surrender a title and have to declare part of real estate. You can't do that in a single one. A single one, once it's title, it's always title. You can't surrender a title to a single one anywhere.
Both of these were lies. Town council member Elijah Leonard provided me with conflicting information in regards to what the town ordinance says.
Most restricted in town. The issue with that is in the R2, there's nothing in R1 that speaks upon a mobile home. But in the R2 realm, under section B, additional uses permitted by conditional use permit would be in a mobile home or a mobile on an individual lot, which is what we're speaking about. But in an R1, which is the most restricted home, there's not even a conditional use permit. But in
first clip, he says that because the zoning ordinances do not mention a manufactured home, you cannot have one.
Did you see that in the order?
Doesn't speak here about modular homes, but doesn't speak against the modular homes. It talks about
So you can't make it exact where you want to?
manufactured.
In this second clip, he says that because the zoning ordinances do not mention a modular home, you can have one. These points seem to directly contradict one another. It was so difficult trying to get any information from the town. They even forced me to hire a lawyer, but they wouldn't talk to me. I went to the town hall to ask for more time for them to sign the building permit. The town manager sent the town clerk to speak with me. I let her know that I was talking with a lawyer. The very next night, 2 wheels had been stolen from our manufactured home. On May 16, 2022, we went to the Board of Zoning Appeals, and they said we could not have this home on our property because of the town's zoning ordinances. We asked everywhere we could to show us the specific paragraph in the ordinances that said this, but no one could show us. We went to court over the decision by the Board of Zoning Appeals, hoping the court would make the right decision. Judge of the Circuit Court, Brian Patton, ruled that we could not have this home. The following are his words exactly, and I quote, "And I say all that because obviously the court is looking at what the actual meaning or intent of the zoning ordinance was, and it was obviously to deny mobile homes or manufactured homes or single-wide trailers or whatever you want to call that type of structure from being allowed into R1." End quote. There is no restriction in the town ordinance that uses any of this wordage in regards to R1 zones. After this, we felt as if the law doesn't work, but we still had hope, and we had a trust in God, because we never lied or broke any laws. One day, we got a knock on the door from the town police. They served us an injunction stating we had to remove the home within 30 days. Again, we had no choice but to hire a lawyer. We went to court on September 8, 2023 over this injunction and lost again. At this point, we understood that the corruption within the local government would prevent us from finding justice. The court ordered that we had 60 days to remove my son's home, which is now real estate, from his property. It's been 4 weeks after court, and we still haven't received the court order. How could any of this happen? Do we still live in a free country? If the local government does not exist to protect our rights and freedoms, then what are they doing?
It's so long, but I would like to. It's in your face.
That's okay. Is that enough room for you?
Yeah. I just would like you all to see what's happened to us this 19 months. And I don't know what else I can say. Last Friday, I was driving home from Abington, and I was in accident. 5 vehicles hit together, and we waited there for a couple hours, I think. State police came, questioned what's happened, that somebody made U-turn in front of us, and just like, don't want everybody, push everybody. And during those 2 times when I was shaking and begging, I thought, why we have to fight for such simple stuff like home for my son? Why we waste our time to hate each other? We don't know if we come back home every day, just get up in the morning and go to work or to store. We don't know what's happened to us this evening or lunchtime. And in such small town, and we are neighbors, but you, Elijah, and you, what's happening? Why do we have to fight? I know you're concerned about value of your property, but here you even can see us. We live on the top of the hill. How our home can bring your value of your property down. And Drew, you're same age as my son. You pass our home every day, and I can't believe that you can witness how you come and take this, my son's home of my property. Why this happening to us? I don't know what to say. You ask me questions.
Does the planning commission have any questions for Ms. Boyd?
I don't believe so. I can appreciate the situation.
And what order?
You can call your auditor.
You prepare,
You can call your auditor.
she's not my lawyer.
Oh, you don't have a lawyer anymore? Oh, okay.
She was charged in one case,
Okay.
so when we expect,
You'll get notice.
okay, thank you.
Bedroom, close in that. I will say everything there is R1. I don't know of any other time, have we, not since I've been here, that we've changed to R1 to an R2, is that correct?
I'm not aware of it.
I will have one question. Is the reason that you want to be a R2? You didn't say that, but tell me what your reason would be to be an
I hope if we, you see, first when I asked when it all started on video, Mr. Tiller said that you have to rezone all area, R1. And we live next to high school, so it's high school, it's two subdivisions, it's big area, which you can, if you look at the map,
Here's your map. This is your property.
yeah.
Everything in there.
And if you look at the map, you can see on the other side of town, there is R2.
That's not a complete map, but that's,
Yeah, yeah. It's
we're just
R1.
focusing on where you're at right now.
But I ordered some freedom of information, and town changed before. You see this whole zone C1, M1.
Yeah,
They
we're
appear-
not here to discuss that, but I appreciate your story. I guess the first, y'all have any questions? Let's see, do I hear a motion to approve the application based on merit?
And somebody else was going to
I didn't see any other hands. Did I miss somebody? Sorry. Revoke that. You gotta help me. What's your name?
My name's Ben Price. I think I know most of you all. But my name's Ben Price. I'm here with my wife. And, we're adjacent property owners. It's really good to see everybody this evening. I appreciate the letter that the town sent to us. I also appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all. I don't envy your jobs, either the council members or the planning commission. You got some tough decisions to make. Back in December of 2021, my wife and I purchased some land just north of the homestead, about 25 acres. Our intentions were to build our dream home, but that came to a screeching halt when the boys moved there, unpermitted, unauthorized, portable structure, whatever you want to call it, into the prestigious, that's what word I'm going to call it. That's how I feel about it, R1 zone. Okay. Now, at this point, it could go either way. Do we not want to start construction because of this unpermitted structure being adjacent to our property? Or did we not want to start construction because the local government was overreaching, threatening, nonsensical, for lack of a better word, un-American in their approach to Miss Boyd? What are you all going to say if I want to paint my house tiger orange? Homemaker tiger orange. I'm sure somebody would have a comment about it. What if the structure we build is 35 foot tall because in your bylaws, guidelines, whatever you want to call it, you can only have them 30 feet tall? Do I have to tear it down? What's my bank going to say? They're going to foreclose on my property because I'm in non-compliance? Is it going to ruin me financially, bankrupt me? Am I going to have to sell my business? What about my patients? A lot of things went through my mind. So, we're deciding whether or not we want to build there, and if this is a place we want to live. I think I'm one of the few people who located, I was born and raised in Washington County, and I located in Russell County. Russell County's population has declined over 12% in the last 10 years. Lebanon is not far behind, right at 10. Got me thinking, maybe I should have stayed. Maybe y'all want us to go. I've spoken with appraisers, realtors, and people in the real estate industry, and while some have mentioned that it will decrease property values, I've not found anybody that's gave us proof that it will. As a matter of fact, I've found quite the opposite, because I do have a concern about that. But there's no solid shred of evidence that I can hang my hat on and say, this affects my property value. It's quite the opposite, because if a trailer moves in to where it has right now, take it for example, I got my Lebanon property tax bill in the mail. What are y'all going to say if I come to town hall and say, hey, I really think we need to lower my value on my property here because you've got this structure here? I don't feel like I'm going to get very far using that logic. So in my mind, we can't speak out of both sides of our mouths. It does not work that way. Spoke with Elijah, Drew, Mr. Tiller, and at first value, I didn't want a trailer beside my property. I told Elijah that, I told Drew that, I told Mr. Tiller, no, I don't want a trailer. Well, you need to come speak, and you can come, okay, I'll be there. That was no secret. After speaking with the Boyds, learning their intentions, seeing the structure, its location, I could no longer support not allowing her to do with her property as she pleased. I don't want her, or you, or anybody, not even my wife sometimes, telling me what to do with mine and her land. So it's not really fair, I think, in my mind, for me to put that on her. But make no mistake, your decision, should it be to deny rezoning and the subsequent conditional use permit, you're not protecting me, my wife, our property, or any home that we may build. But it's my position that you will be hurting her, her husband, her family, and her rights as an American. So if that's your decision, I respect it, I don't support it, but I don't want you to do it in my name as an adjacent property owner. And I want to try to remember the purpose of government. I don't believe it's your purpose, and I think if you were, thinking and there wasn't so much friction with this issue, I think that the function of government is not to prevent this situation from happening. Now, if my wife and I were like, hey, we're going to put in a mobile home park or a trailer court or whatever you want to call it on the property that we bought, then I think that's probably more designed the function of this particular allowance here. I would understand the opposition to that. I feel like if we were going to put in something like that, you would have a lot more people here speaking in opposition. And you know, it was my understanding, and as a property owner, and, you know, I would rather have my property zoned as an R2, because I still have all the protections that an R1 affords me. But I'm also able to apply for a conditional use permit to come and plead my case before the planning commission and say, hey, here's what I want to do. Here's my designs, here's my envision or whatever. And the way I understood it, that conditional use permit by definition is only permitted as long as the condition still exists. If I change my mind, or I do something that's unauthorized, it's not listed in that permit, and it's no longer a condition. At least that was my understanding. You know, just because we can do something doesn't always mean that we should do something. And no matter the outcome here, I always believe, and will always believe, that the town and the boys could work this out to most everyone's satisfaction. I hope and pray that everyone can forgive each other and that you all can find a way to peacefully exist. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Mr. Cook.
Thank you. Make sure we didn't miss anybody.
I'd like to say something. We put that in, and we developed it, and we placed no restrictions whatsoever. And at the time, I didn't know that the town was just going to brush it with R1 or C3 or whatever. I guess maybe I dropped the ball by not following up with it, or whatever, but there's always kind of been a stigma with trailers or whatever. And, those lots, they're kind of out of the way. And there's not been a stigma for me. If you want to pitch a tent up there, and that's what I told the people that bought lots. If you want a tent, if you want a castle, wherever you want, it's yours. And everybody has their own. And I'm not for or against, but I'm just saying, when we developed that, we placed no restrictions other than your imagination on it. So.
Can I say one thing? Always have to. I don't know what the medium income or whatever they call it for Russell County for Lebanon is, but I know I worked in the coal mines and made good money, and I couldn't afford a $400,000 payment. I mean, it's out of the way. It's hid. Nobody can see it. Elijah would have to go to Hockey's house to look at it probably. What kind of message are we sending to people about moving to Lebanon? If you ain't got the money, we don't want you. I mean, that's my way of looking at it. There's trailers all over this town. That one's here. I mean, there's 3 right across the road over here. It's here, people.
Appreciate it. Questions? I would say one thing that was heard is people should have the right to do what they want to on their own land. That's definitely not true. We live in a community of rules and regulations. You don't have the right, even though you own it, you still have to abide by rules and regulations. I like to do a lot of stuff in my place. I think do what everybody else does. So that's the reason we have this. Okay.
And the reason that we have zoning for all these years was to try to protect our town. That was the whole purpose, and it has taken many, many, many years.
And I appreciate people's situation. Everybody has a situation. I've had my situations. But we have to do what's right for the community. That's the reason we have this. And we're a commission. We're volunteers. We don't work for the town. We're citizens of the town. We work here at their pleasure.
I don't know if you're aware, but the old town ordinance, back when we started, when it was mobile home back in January, they didn't have any restriction. Town changed town ordinance later in April.
I think that it didn't have the wordage in there because, and I know this from my dad being on the planning commission for all those years, because the mobile homes were not allowed. There was never consideration of it being in R1. And the consultation that the town did many, many years ago was that it was very to adhere to these guidelines to try to get most of the mobile homes in a mobile home park.
Is the park in town ordinance? Is what you just told me?
I believe your situation, how long has this gone on for the, what's the timeline of this? This did start.
This has been going on 22 months.
I think all your questions have been answered, but this is above and beyond. My scope here tonight is determine R1 and R2. I think you followed it in court. I
I
think
agree
there's
with you
some,
that we have to follow rules, that's what, you have a town ordinance, we have to follow, them, yes. But,
I think the question's been answered before. I can't answer that. I appreciate your situation. I do. All right, I would say is to have a motion.
But Ralph wants to say something.
Mr. Chairman,
You on the-
if I might speak just a minute, I didn't plan to speak tonight, and I'm having a hard time hearing a little bit, but my funny, I thought Tony was laughing, I think I might not be speaking plain, am I?
You're good.
Doing okay?
Yeah, I hear
All
you.
right. Well, you heard Clint Sykes talk a while ago, and Clint and I are neighbors. I'm not a direct neighbor with regard to the situation we're talking about, but I'm in the neighborhood. And I just want to ask you all a question. Are we protecting the town with these actions against mobile homes, or are we sending a message of fear and we don't want you? I mean, let's just be real about it. There's places where they're fine. There's places where you can't really do it. But there are cases where they're fine, in my opinion. And I was really sorry to see the town take action when they took R1 and basically said, you're not going to get any type of mobile home in R1 from one end of town to the other. I think that's just seriously wrong, and I think that probably ought to be looked at again sometime. But all I'm going to say is, I want to be a good neighbor. The boys are good neighbors, Clint's a good neighbor, and I would like for you all, if you can, figure out some way to try to help the boys and just leave them alone. Now, I noticed in the film here, I know Elijah, you're down there in that neck of the woods more so than I am. But there's looks like a good start of the cedars, the pine trees along the property line. And I think if you just let those grow, Elijah, you're not going to be able to see it. And it's not going to, people are not even going to know this up there. So listen, I've always told people, if you're worried about your neighbors, plant some pine trees. You don't have to look at them. So that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I just have a question. So you can, just because you haven't done something in the past doesn't mean you can't change the ruling now, right? Because you haven't historically done it, doesn't mean you can't do it
I
now,
don't
right?
think the zoning laws are going to be solved here tonight. That's not.
I'm not
my
asking
job.
about the zoning laws.
I can't answer that because that's not what we're here for. If you've got a question with
Just because,
or
but you
zoning and how
asked
it's
him,
written, then
because
you'll have to go to
historically you
somebody.
changed it. You said no, but that doesn't mean you can't change it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the issue.
Okay, so what's that process?
The request is that they rezone, change the zoning, that's what's before them, they can vote to do it, they can vote
What's
not to.
before me is I'm looking at in an R1, do I go to an R2? All the other questions are valid and I appreciate all of
But your
that. I'm not
stipulation
here to
is
do
that you've never done it in the past, so that's
That's
why
not-
you're not wanting to do it
That's just a
now.
fact. That's not a
Okay,
stipulation.
so it can be changed then?
Sure, that's the reason we're here.
Okay.
Just
That's
be
not
clear,
the
you
vote.
never rezoned a piece of property in the town of Lebanon?
That's not, no, he
I
said
didn't say that. I said
his
we have
question
gone
was-
from an R1 to
to an
an
R2.
R2.
So never in the history of this town have they went from R1
Not
to
since
R2?
I've been here.
I don't recall, it could have happened, I mean, I've not been here since it had the zoning.
And that's
Well, but that's what we said, you've never done it.
Yeah.
So I'm just
It doesn't
asking
mean
if
you
you're
can't.
standing by that statement, because I feel like you have.
And what about that R2 zone that's right beside the high school for the townhouses? How was that pulled out?
Because that was designed as multifamily housing.
So if she decides she wants to put multifamily housing there, we
She
can
can request to
rezone?
have a property rezoned, just like she's doing now.
Like she's doing tonight.
Okay, so was that zoned to R2 at the beginning?
Yeah.
It wasn't rezoned to R2? But we can change the ruling here. We can say,
We can't do it tonight
why?
because that's not what we're here for.
You can't say you can turn this to R2? We just said we can do that, did we not just
I
say?
can't change.
The request is what you just said.
Yeah.
They're requesting, Ms. Boyd would like to go from R1 to R2. That's the whole purpose of
That's what
it.
we're,
Okay, so that's what I'm asking.
that's what we're,
That's
Okay, and so
that's
will we
all
have a
we're doing.
reason, will we get a definition of why we won't if we don't? Or why we do if we don't?
provide that.
So you just say, because we don't want to?
They have the authority.
Okay, and so
That makes sense.
whenever the R1, so whenever that was annexed out there by the high school where the multifamily part is, it's my understanding that anytime that anything is annexed, it becomes an R1 automatically.
Yeah.
So would that not, how did that get from an R1 to an R2?
That was in town.
From the.
That was already in town.
It became from the beginning, multi-house.
It was always multi-house, okay.
Yeah.
all right, I'm gonna close the questions.
Okay. You any planning commission, any direction or any?
Do we have a motion to approve the application? Yes.
Taylor, no motion?
You need to, I guess, close the public hearing, and you need to report to him that there's no motion to approve it, and the council makes the ultimate decision.
This time I've closed the joint public hearing between the town council and our Lebanon planning commission. Mr. Chairman, do you have a statement to make?
Yes, sir. The commission has no motion.
On this no motion. Thank you. Council have any comments? Any discussion? Okay, again, we thank our planning commission for your service to the town, and we thank everyone for being here tonight. We will now continue with the agenda. Any public requests?
It's just me.
Wanda?
Mine's not a request. I'm just here to thank y'all. I want to thank y'all for what you did for bringing Mark Merrill here. No one, I know Deanne had some issues that she had to deal with that night, but Tony, I can't thank you enough for coming. I know you saw what we have tried to tell everybody about.
Yes.
You saw how much he affects the kids, how his story is just amazing.
I didn't realize the story. Pretty interesting.
Well, I came last year and I definitely wanted to come
He
this
kind of
year.
added something a little bit to it this year because he shared the story of a mom who had gotten a phone call about her son committing suicide. And just to let y'all know, I know that there had been some fuss made after we went to Castlewood, which put a little bit of a damper on things, which was sad. And I feel sorry for the people that felt they needed to do that. But we had 3 people. There's 3 kids in this county that contacted him. They were contemplating suicide. 3. And as I said, the board of supervisors, if any one of those people that raised some shame over this event, trying to make it something that it wasn't, could put a price on a kid's life in this county, shame on them. He's been in touch with the schools, so he knows, they know who these kids were. I'm going to tell you something. We got struggles in this county. And if he came here and helped 3 kids, I don't care if he helped 1,
That's right.
it's well worth every dime we put into it, no matter what ignorance was displayed all over Facebook and everywhere else. So we just sincerely want to thank y'all for having the faith in us to bring us. I'm glad you came.
Me too.
Because you got to see it,
Yep.
and you see what an impact he makes. He is everywhere. He goes everywhere, and he does the same thing everywhere. So we just want to thank y'all again for just bringing him back. We'd bring him back every year if we could, because if it's 1 kid, it's well worth it.
We just want to thank you.
Very well, thank you all. What is that? We need to go through, you need to explain anything that we should just move forward. Since we already know. Public safety.
I can if you want.
Yeah, I want to.
Send them out, we'll be took care of.
Okay, as we said, I mean, those of us who were here tonight know that Doyle passed away, and we lost a great council member and a good friend of this community. Legally, there are requirements that we have to meet and have had to meet, and at this point, I'm going to, so you all know, I'm going to yield to our attorney to explain where we move forward on and what the requirements are.
The first issue was since the seat became vacant, with Dole's passing away, the council instructed me to file what's called a petition for a writ of election with the circuit court. We were under a time crunch to do that. You have a 14-day time period to do that, and to request when a special election is to be held. But after talking with the registrar and going through the constraints on when a special election could be held, given the general election next month, the presidential primary in March, and a possible congressional primary in June, it was decided, again after talking with her, that the easiest thing to do would just be to set it at the next general election in November. Now,
November 24th.
November of 2024, yeah. Yeah, whenever the presidential election is, basically. So that's when the election will be held, fill that seat. Now, in the interim, the council has the authority within 45 days of the vacancy, Doyle's passing, to appoint someone to serve until the general election. If the council can't agree or chooses not to appoint somebody within that 45-day period, then the circuit court has the authority to appoint a person to serve until the next special election. So it's only until the special election, and once that election is held, it will be for the purpose of finishing out his term, which began January 1st of this year. So there will be, at that time, there will be a little over 2 years left on that term. So that's sort of where we're at.
All right, thank you, Mr. Taylor. So we're now down to that item on our business, under new business. Does council wish to address this at this time regarding a motion?
Mayor, if there's no other nominations, I would like to make a motion to appoint Nina Fields to the town council until the special election.
To the special election.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Taylor, Mr. Gilmer, Ms. Deanna, thank you all very much. Thank you. Next item, I guess Diane will go open bids for the pavilion. These are sealed bids. Steffi Construction. You ready, Ms. Diane?
Yes, sir.
$59,200. Ken's Construction. $143,266. Mr. Short, would you come forward so I can get these out of my hand and give them to you? Okay, well, two bids, pretty substantial difference. So, what's the council's pleasure?
Steffi Construction.
Motion there, Mr.
Motion,
Gary.
yes,
I'll
sir.
second that, Mayor.
Thank you.
Pending that it does meet all the specs of
I
the
don't
bid.
know if the whole bid packet had the fasteners, the connections to the footers, everything was.
Yeah, that one I read on Steffi said
Details
it's all
on it,
together.
what
To
to
code.
have, so they all have both exactly the same.
Well, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Well, it won't be long till it's Christmas time, so we're gonna have to, I noticed on the agenda, it's time to pick a parade marshal and theme that we have. I guess we need to get this to the Lions Club, is that what, or is this us that at the end?
I think it was
Jointly, or is it just us?
It's about.
Both of us? Council have any recommendations for a parade marshal?
Nobody else does?
It's on you, Miss. Yeah. It's coming at you.
Put it out there.
But yeah, throw it out there.
Okay, this is kind of bad, but, our Christmas theme, one of the suggestions I had was Christmas memories, and would like to refer this back to Doyle. And if we do that, I think Nana would be a choice.
I'll
Good
second
choice.
that motion.
That's a good. And we could work with Bart, and I think he's bringing the Clydesdales back for Christmas. So we're gonna do Christmas memories, and this Nana will be the parade marshal. Is that everybody agreeable?
Yes, sir.
Good suggestion, man. You did good.
I think there's a picture of Mr. Fields in the lobby on the Clydesdales.
No, it is. It's out there in the.
That's what I said, we'll have to use that
Sure.
with it.
I think Bart is gonna help us too. Okay?
Thank you, Ms. Dean.
Thanks, Steve. Okay. Mr. Short, town manager's report. Hey, you don't know Scott, do you?
Good, okay.
Thank you all. Few things on the management report this week or this month. The first one is the brochure and the information packet that shows a template of the text.gov software that we've been looking at as far as the Texas citizens information. This is where it would start. If you see the alerts, Diane and I are still going through some training on it, so it's not up and going yet. But we'll see, you can subscribe to the different text messages. So you can subscribe to a general one, which will be, you text 11 alerts to 91896, and you'll get all those alerts that we send out to the system. Then you can also sign up under your trash day. So if you send in Monday 11 trash, if we're not picking up trash that day, we'll just send it to that trasher instead of having to send it to the entire town.
The most recent example, hypothetical. What if we end up, let's say, with that bull notice again?
Correct.
Can we notify the citizens
Correct.
through this?
Yeah, it'll be up to the citizens to subscribe to it. Let us have their phone number and sign them up and sign them into the program. The text might go part of the subscription is them doing marketing, so we'll have on Facebook, links on websites, links that they can sign up to get those alerts. But once they sign up, they're in the system.
So if you're a subscriber, you get the alerts.
You don't have to subscribe, part of our subscription.
No, I mean, I thought you said they had to sign up for it.
They do,
Citizens.
yeah, but they don't have to pay you to
I
subscribe.
understand that, but if I don't sign up for it, I don't get these alerts.
Correct.
How are we gonna get citizens to do that?
Just have to advertise and do all the marketing.
Encourage, it's a
Get
great-
them on- get them
it's
on
a
the
great
right.
thing.
a text initially to accept or
I
decline?
don't have the number to
You don't have,
send it to them. I gotta have the number to put into the program.
is that gonna be part of our,
Implementation.
the water, of the, 120?
Yep, that'd be part of that,
Okay.
yeah. I'm thinking as far as even it, a lot of the 120 water, if we reach out to the land group on our own, a lot of that 120 water, if you sign up, so much off the water bill this month, incentive, type of really get people, signed up for that. But this is how it'll be, and also have other, capabilities, once we get with our GIS mapping software. If you have an area that's out of water, you just go in and highlight that area on the map, and only the people out of water get the message, instead of the entire town getting it, and it doesn't apply to you, so. We're still working on the system, and we're still doing training, but that's a template of what it's gonna look like.
All right.
Second item I have on there is, we need a new 25-foot trailer for the street department. There's 4 bids in the information packet. First one starts with the modern super center for $10,995. And then it goes back to Lucky Bee trailers is the last bid. We have 2 bids. One for $20,740.50. Another for $23,710.50. The only difference in those two are the dual jacks instead of the single jack. But talking with Billy, he feels like the cheaper one for a modern will be just fine for anything we need to have.
So what's the Quinn one?
Oh, Quinn is the same. It's 25 foot with a 5 foot dovetail. It and the first one are pretty close.
But it's cheaper.
No.
No, it's 15,000.
It's 15.
It's 15,005.
You got one more in front of that.
And modern,
Drew, do we know the weight of the bigger excavator that we haul with that?
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
I don't know the exact weight. I know Bill said this will haul it.
That's
That's part of it.
That's a beautiful Lucky Bee trailer.
Okay.
It was a single
Third bid.
axle capacity 10,000 pounds.
What's the equipment on this trailer that's hauled, that you haul?
The excavator, the backhoe, when we go pick up golf carts for events.
Excavator in the back up? 3 bids, get the low bid of $10,995. Any direction for council?
I make a motion to buy the one from Modern Super Center for $10,995.
Okay, we have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second, Deanna. Further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed? Okay, Drew.
Thank you all. The next item is our contract negotiations with W&L. Talked to Travis Lambert this week. He sent us back a number with W&L's new number if we were to extend that contract. It went from 86.46 a ton to 114.30 a ton on the unit for asphalt. Then the liquid asphalt index went from 378 to 608. So it's quite a big jump. Travis put his numbers together for us. He also said he's completely okay if we want to rebid it. He'll be there to go next month to bid it.
My initial reaction is to rebid it.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign.
Just wanted to give council updates for the two items we applied for with Cumberland. They were in my manager's report last week. We did get the planning grant funding for the drainage stormwater study, and also $154,000 towards the Stute Street sewer line, a total of $354,000. So the land group's made aware of that. Stute Street side, Chris Mullins knows, so we're gonna try to get together and the plan this month before, the plan is to have the land group, hopefully at the November meeting, to reopen some discussions about revisiting these PERs, but in the meantime, we're gonna meet with them a couple times and do a little legwork for you guys, and have some options ready.
So tell me about the Stute, what's the Stute Street project?
Stute Street project estimates $354,000.
Are we gonna have much encumbered like that?
$154,000.
I didn't think we'd get that much.
I was surprised, they had $500,000 left that they couldn't give out of the project, so right around $500,000 of over.
So is Chris gonna try to find another funding source?
We're gonna look at
fix
that and also
fix
see if
Stute
there's a
Street?
possibility to add into that distribution PER.
Okay.
So,
All right.
like I said, the plan is to get with them and reopen that because material contractors have started to level out, materials are starting to level back out, so it's about time to open that discussion back up.
Okay.
You spoke with the Wayne Group last month, and I talked to them about the lead and copper proposal. I know you talked to Matthew, they gave us a proposal of $40,000, he called back, and you must have talked to him pretty good.
Talked to him pretty good.
Called back with a proposal of $30,000. So they've offered to do our lead and copper program, work alongside us for the $30,000, and that also includes the applying for funding part of that, which we've already started actually. We got a support letter from Scotty Wampler today.
Oh, really? Oh, good.
But this is basically identifies and kind of mirrors up what 120 White is going to do for us. But with their GIS and their Esri system and working with the county, I think we're going to be able to do it a lot easier in-house.
So we can work together with a working group instead of somebody out of the Midwest.
Yes.
They
They kind of learn our program at the same time.
I guess Scott, we need to approve it.
Yeah, we need to make a motion to approve Lane Group on the first phase of the lead and copper study. Drew, would that be accurate? I mean, what's,
Lead and copper rule. Yeah, it's the inventory process of the lead and copper rule.
With Lane Group.
contract up to $30,000, Mayor? I'd like to put that in form of a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion?
Drew, please document the other quotes or bids that we have on file that exceeded the $30,000.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Brad couldn't be here today, he was going to Georgia, so he had sent me an idea here to pass it along, see if any of the other councils might be interested, but he was hoping we may be able to do this at the ball field. There's a picture of a stadium chair there in the back, the information pack. He's wanting to get one of those and have a plaque and goals and remembrance and put it over here at the ball field somewhere in the deck.
That's where you stay all the time, at that location.
I think this thing, talk to Jerry Sons, I think they can get a plaque made for the chair, but this one was one we found on there, they're harder than you think to find, but he wanted me to bring that idea up to council and see what they.
I'll make a motion to approve it, please.
I'll second.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. I would not, also, I'd like for council to consider, I think at some point, I'd like to involve Nina in some discussion, as we continue specific remembrances, so she'll be part of the discussion. I don't know where left out.
Absolutely. All right, and the last thing I have is the Russell Theater grand opening. We're going to bring it up for discussion. You going to do that?
Yeah, I'd like to talk about that.
Okay.
All right, so what needs to happen, the theater, as y'all know, it is open. It's began, we have concert there. We got movie, Jurassic Park's down there this weekend. I think movies have been scheduled through Halloween. But we need to have an opening for the public and the funding sources, the major funding sources. They have not been here to see the project. And with that, we're probably gonna have to do that during the workday, their workday. And to get that done, that's probably gonna take, Diana, how long? 2 to 3 weeks to get everybody notified and get on the calendar?
Yes, sir.
So tentatively looking, I don't know if we can get done by the end of October or not. Do you, Diane?
We might.
Think we can make maybe that Thursday, the 26th?
We'll try hard.
Are y'all good with doing that on a Thursday during the day? I'll get with, if it's all right with you all, I'll get with Diane and get out. We've already started talking about the funding agencies. We probably need to invite all of our local boards, the citizens. Sean, we probably need your help in the paper.
Contractors as well.
All the contractors and all that, to get the word out, Facebook, or our webpage, etc. And, so we'll just keep it, if it's agreeable with council, we'll just keep everybody posted as we go where we are. Me and Diane and Drew, is that all right with you all?
Yes, sir.
And any input any recommendations that you all have on what we might want to do for the grand opening, if you wouldn't care, send them to Miss Nunley. Okay? So we're tentatively on the calendar, we're looking at
October
26th. You better say 10 o'clock instead of 11.
November 26th, correct, or October?
October 26th,
11 o'clock or
10 o'clock. Tentative, we'll line it down, what's the people that we need to know that's coming to get here.
That's all I had, unless any council members have any questions.
Questions for Mr. Short?
Drew, do we need a motion for the entertainment on November 5th?
Probably need to, yeah, I don't know how we want to work with that. I don't know how we want to do a budget for the theater, with approvals or motions, or as far as booking wise, if Shane has something he needs to book that's over $5,000, there's a level, that limit there, that they can't wait a month to know their schedule, or if we just say, if it's over that, we don't get them, maybe better next time, or if you want to have an entertainment budget that we had in there, we'll just stay under that, but it's probably the easiest way of figuring something out moving forward, so it's not a.
We need to make it within, not hold him up because you lose those shows that he's trying to do.
Yeah, or you could be proactive and put a schedule out before the previous meeting, so we can actually speak on what we're.
I can do that a little bit, but I think some of these, he's catching people coming through and back. They're just
Yeah,
looking
they're
for
calling
a
in.
show.
I got it.
It's got a couple of
John,
calls from people playing in like Knoxville or somewhere, just.
Well, my opinion is, my opinion on this specifically, I think would help us out if in one instance with the Russell Theater, we consider the entertainment and the sound separately. So if Shane is willing to book, up and Drew approve up to $5,000, I think that's very reasonable. A lot of times, like in this case, it's the sound that puts us over. So I think we're okay, if we look at, and this with the theater, if we because sometimes we're bidding out the sound, sometimes it's in-house, depending, when we get our guys trained and so forth.
And the people they
So I think it's okay where we're at, and I foresee us meeting probably every 2 weeks anyway. I think we're okay right now, but if it ends up being a problem, I'd say we change the authorization amount to the town manager.
I think there's a Christmas show coming through that he wanted around that kind of figure, which I'm fine with, if you like it. I don't know how many of us screw up with highwaymen.
But with that being said, if you want to go ahead and do it this time.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd like to move on with that one too.
Yeah, we need to make sure that we have ample amount of time to advertise for those too. We want to make sure that we can get as many people involved in the theater if we're spending that kind of money.
Can you add that to your motion?
I sure will. What's the name of the group?
Highwaymen Christmas Show.
I'll add that to our agenda itinerary to the end of the year. Russell Theater Entertainment there. Put that in form of motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And we're not 100% we can get them, right? The Christmas? Or is it?
Not 100%, but he needs, he needed to move. He's probably gonna try to make that call tomorrow.
Okay.
When's the comedy show?
It's
October 20th, Friday, the 20th.
This Friday?
A week from next Friday. You got a new comedian though.
Huh?
I think you had to get another comedian.
Well, there's three on the.
There's three.
There's three, but I
One
don't
of them
know.
got sick, like this kind of sick.
Oh, well, so he knows he's gonna be sick for 20? Pretty good.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's three. That's right, Scott, there's three. All right. Anything else for Drew at this time?
Mayor, I'd asked Mr. Short to do a comparison for the council.
Oh, yes, sorry, it's in the information packet.
It is. And for the public, as far as us contracting out trash services for 3 of those events.
Is it in here?
It is. We contracted J&J Trash Services this year for the 3 events. The Big Rig, or the Cedar Fest, July 4th, and Big Rig Truck Show. And it looks like that grand total for 2022 events was $7,546.02 using our own men. And then us using that contract service this year, the total our men and the contractor was $4,960.15, so that was a savings to the town and its citizens of $2,585.87. I just want to thank you for putting that together.
Good.
Because that was I wondered exactly how those numbers were going to play out, but it looks like
Those folks did a good job too.
they did a fantastic job.
Mostly a lot of our employees who normally don't get to see things, they get to enjoy some things. All right, thank you, Drew.
Thank you.
Chief Deskins? You're up.
Thank you guys. Just a couple of numbers for September. Just to let you know, total month of September, we had 62 total summonses, 25 traffic summonses, and 34 criminal. 23 total arrests, 11 total motor vehicle crashes, responded to 9 assist motorist calls. All the other month, we responded to 553 calls for service. We patrolled a total of 9,510 miles.
What's, so we're getting ready to get in the holiday season.
Yes.
Are you getting inquiries from Walmart?
As far as off-duty,
Being up there?
Yeah.
More presence?
yes, we have, typically during Christmas and stuff, they have offered some off-duty
Officers?
employment and stuff to be
Okay.
there. They haven't approached us with that yet, but I anticipate that will be coming. Right now, we're still just, we've got on the intensified patrol of
Okay.
Walker is. And of course, we'll have officers assigned there for Black Friday and things like that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Any questions for the chief at this time?
All right, thank
You
you.
have anything else?
Nope, I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Tiller, you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay. We need to go into closed session and personnel for a few minutes to discuss these applications. What's that title of that job? Water plant?
Water plant operator.
Water plant operator. Okay.
And, legal also,
And legal for
some insurance.
insurance? Okay. So we need a motion to go into closed session under section 2.2-3711A under personnel to review position applications and legal related to insurance questions. So do I have a motion?
I'll make it motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We stand in closed session.